Welcome, race fans, here to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Tonight, the Red Light Scrambler Series heads into the next round of the playoffs. Two guys have been eliminated last week. That's Eric Johnson and Leo Bordage. They were headed home. Tonight, though, they're still able to race here with the Red Light Scrambler Series. But as always on Monday night here with the Red Light Scrambler Series, Roger B right alongside me, though. My trusty little co-partner right here, Jared Riker, making the trip all the way up here from Pennsylvania to New Hampshire. Jarrett, going to be a hot and slippy one out there so far, it seems, in practice.
That's right, Roger. It is very hot, and they are going to be slipping and sliding all over this racetrack.
Yeah, it looks like 25 drivers have rolled into New Hampshire here. A lot of rookies looking through the timing and scoring. 25 drivers have entered the lobby to take on this Magic Mile. It is only a little short track, just over a mile in total length. It's a 1 mile .01 track out here. It does actually have a road course, but we're not going to run the road course here tonight. We're going to stick to the four-corner oval surface. It has a little bit of banking down the straightaway, 1 degree here for New Hampshire. In the corners, it's a variable banking, goes from 2 degrees down there on the flat till it kind of peaks out at right around 7 degrees of banking. So it's really going to play havoc, these guys, with a flat track, kind of. And track temps up over 110 degrees. So let's take a quick peek here as we have just over the 3-minute marker till we get to qualifying. Let's see if we can take a quick look down and see who's leading the fast times here tonight. Todd Cray, one of the rookies, saw him last week, so it's good to see him back-to-back events here. Todd Cray has the quick time up top, right above Sean Butler, not by much, just .025 separates your top 2 spots. Todd Cray, Sean Butler, Max Terriol leads your top 3 spots, and it's Tim Blum. Remember Tim a couple weeks ago thought he had the hot shoe for the fuel strategy right down to the T. Unfortunately came out just a little bit short. He is running 4th right now in our practice session. Another rookie out there in the 999, Jeff Hollingsworth is right there. James Skelton last week had a solid run going and then kind of fell towards the back and rebounded for another great finish. He's 6th on the board with Ethan Troutman right there. Richard Murdoch, look at the guy who's running 9th on the board. Normally not one of the regulars here. Normally up here in one of the booths, Corey Silva out there running. He's 9th quickest. We're going to have to keep an eye out on him. And how about the 972, David Camara rounds out the top 10. So that's how they're out there running right now in your practice session with just over 2 minutes. Let's talk about real quick, as we talked about, this is the first round of the first race of round number 2. I get the words out here sooner or later. Round 2, first race. We eliminated Eric Johnson and Leo Bordage. Tim Blum comes into the night dead even. Everybody through the chase is even, 1 through 10 here. It's Tim Blum, Joshua Buckley, Sean Butler, Brandon Minto, Richard Murdoch, Patrick Orr, James Skelton, Kyle Souza, Max Terriol, and Ethan Troutman. All those drivers, even playing field here before we knock another 2 down out of the playoffs in a couple of weeks. At this point, Jarrett, it seems like any one of these guys, even the 2 that were knocked out as of last week, any of these drivers on any given day could step in here, take a win, and take a championship.
Oh, absolutely. The last few weeks, the races have really come down to fuel mileage. You never know what strategy is going to play out week to week.
Saw a couple guys last week run out right at the very end of the race and not able to make it. Sean Butler played the strategy to a T. You heard him cutting it off last week, and actually, if I remember right, all the way, I think about 4 weeks ago at Pocono, we saw the same strategy deployed by the driver of the 88. Wondering if we're going to see that here from the Magic Mile. It is a 90-lap race here tonight. And, well, in just about 45 seconds, we're going to take to the qualifying grid. So we're going to step away real quick. We'll be right back with qualifying action for the Red Light Scrambler Series.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
And we're back here at New Hampshire. As there you see it, it's changed. A little cloud cover now is rolled in here for our qualifying session. Todd Cray, the first one to take to the grid. Let's see if he's going to be the first one to roll out. He's not. It looks like actually Joshua Buckley in the number 2 will be the first one to roll off of pit road to try and get that Miller Genuine Draft number 2 machine up to pace. It's going to be a tricky one out here tonight. Still, the track temp here in qualifying is still 109 degrees. Air temp is sitting at a nice cool calm, I guess, if you will, here lately for the Northeast at 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's see as the 2 goes on the clock here. Joshua Buckley coming in on the season. No wins for the driver of the number 2. He does have 2 top 5s along with 7 top 10s. So he has a solid year, finds himself in the chase, and now time to try and separate himself from the rest of the drivers as he comes down the backstretch into turn number 3 on his first qualifying lap. A little bit up the track for the 2 of Buckley there as he came through 3 and 4. Let's see where he goes on the board. He'll be the first one to put in a lap time, but what kind of lap time does he put in? He puts in a 29.086, and he's dropping through the timing and scoring real quick because Max Terrill comes over, and he goes P1 with a 28.516. James Skelton out here in the 86 Slim Jim Mobile. He's sitting 4th on his first lap as he comes off corner number 4 to complete his second time lap. Where is he going to go? Is he going to better his time? A little bit better on lap number 2 for James Skelton. He goes with a 28.76 or 28.706 actually. And here's Corey Silva out here in that 94 machine. Corey right now has the 5th quickest time on his first lap. For a guy who's been out of the seat for a little while, he still looks pretty racy out there as he got a little wiggle there out of the 94 machine. Track temps are pretty hot. Corey Silva going a little bit quicker with a 20, or actually a little bit slower with a 28.8. Ryan O'Danny puts in the 9th fastest time and then elects to shut her down there. Kyle Souza out there on track in the number 4. A little bit of a combination paint scheme there. He's out here right now running 13th with a 29.027 on lap number 1. Let's see as he comes across the line here. He goes to the 28, so he goes a little bit faster, moves himself up to the 11th spot. Sean Butler has put in a qualifying attempt. Just 1 lap for the 88 of Sean Butler, and he went straight to the top of the board. P1 for Sean Butler. Robert Dudley is out here this week, back in action. 2nd week Dudley has been in action here with the Red Light Scrambler Series. He's sitting currently 19th on his first lap. Let's see where he's going to end up on his second lap. He's going to run a little bit slower with a 29.5 versus a 29.4 on his first lap, so he'll sit right there in the 19th spot. Ethan Troutman, a man we thought back at Pocono might have had a car to win the race from the Pocono International Raceway, didn't win it, came up just a little short. And the other week, he came marching through the field on that fuel strategy. He goes P4 on his first lap, and then he's bumped down real quick because Tim Blum in the number 10 came by, and he put in the 3rd quickest time there in that tied ride. He went with a 28.573. So it's a pretty close gap at the front of the field here for our qualifying session. Sean Butler right now has the pole over Max Terrill, then Tim Blum. That's your top 3. Tim Blum, though, does have 2 wins in the season. So with a qualifying attempt that he just had starting towards the front here tonight, it's going to make things possibly a little bit easier for the driver of that number 10 car. Just about every driver has put in a time except for 2, and here's one of them, the number 20 here, Barstool Sports, sponsored 20 Chevrolet. That's Brandon Minto. He is on his get-up-and-go lap. He's actually now on the clock, so we're going to see where the driver of this Barstool Sports, number 20, comes across the line on his first-timed lap. Track temp still hovering up into the triple digits there, almost 110. It's 109 right now, and Minto puts in his first-time lap. Where is he going to fall on the board? 16th quickest for Brandon Minto. He has one more time lap in the books here. He could possibly go out there, grab a couple more spots. We haven't seen too many guys, though, improve themselves on their second lap. His first lap was a 28.923. As you see, he runs a little bit higher, trying to carry as much speed into the corner as he can. He diamonds it down there, runs about the middle of the track through 3 and 4, right up against the wall coming out of turn number 4, and across the stripe goes the 20 of Minto. Does not increase his starting position, so he is still 16th on the board. And the last man that's just starting to roll out, the 909 of Jesse Baker. New paint scheme on that car. Looks like it's the brand new Chase Elliott Hooters machine. The Hooters Spirits, something new out there that Chase Elliott's been promoting. Well, now it's on the 909 here of Jesse Baker as he rolls through turns 3 and 4. Jesse Baker not making all the races this season with the Red Light Scrambler Series. Just checking through his stats, it looks like one of the best finishes for Jesse Baker came back at the Myrtle Beach Speedway when they were racing the trucks. He had a 19th place finish. He's trying to rebound here with another short track, seeing if he can pick up a couple more positions from his best. Right now, let's see where he's going to qualify, as he is the last man to put in a qualifying attempt here from New Hampshire. So he goes 18th on the board with a 29.105. Going to have to pick it up just a little bit here on his second lap. He's got plenty of time. He looked good there off turn number 2. Let's see how he enters down here into 3 and 4. Runs a little bit lower line than what we've seen a lot of drivers in their qualifying attempts make. He goes right down there, tries to run the bottom, doesn't quite get the car down there, but looks like a pretty solid lap overall. Let's see where he goes. He goes a little bit quicker. He goes with a 29.068, but he's still going to be 18th quickest, so that is going to round out our 25-car field here in our qualifying session. Still got 3 minutes and 11 seconds here. We're going to step away real quick. We're going to play our national anthem. We'll be back here to grid these bad boys up from New Hampshire for round number 2, race 1 of the Red Light Scrambler Series.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And welcome back, race fans. As you see, qualifying is still underway, but all 25 drivers have put in a qualifying attempt. We're going to see if we can quite possibly get a word in with one of the drivers out there who has a pretty quick car, and week in and week out, he kind of has a quick car no matter what kind of surface we're on. Sean Butler got a copy, Roger and Jarrett up here in the booth.
Hey, I got you guys.
Well, you got us here in the booth, and you got the quick time, it looks like, because everybody's put in a qualifying attempt. How hot is that track out there?
It's definitely pretty slick. I actually spun out my first lap. I had to reset and pray for a good second lap, and was able to put one together, but definitely got to be easy getting off the corner. It likes to spin out.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of guys in the practice session, turns 2 and turns 4. Really tricky spots for them. How much is starting position going to play a factor into tonight?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be real hard to pass here. Someone's gonna have to get loose or something. It's so hard to pass on somebody, even if you have a little bit fresher tires. Track position is gonna be huge the whole night. So who knows what's gonna happen with if people get too much throttle and spinning off the corners. You just never know what's gonna happen. So you definitely want to be up front and away from it all.
Well, all we got to say is good luck as these guys are starting to grid up. Sean, maybe you can win this one here from the Magic Mile.
It'd be nice to be good to go for next week and just be able to relax for a week.
Well, there you heard it from Sean, trying to win one here. But as these guys are starting to grid up, Jarrett, let's see if we can work our way through our starting lineup here for round number 2 of the playoffs. Starting out front here tonight, you just heard from the man. That's the 88, Sean Butler. Right alongside him, going to be the 42 of Max Terriol. Starting third tonight, the number 10 here of Tim Blum, and last week's surprise entry, the 921 here, newcomer Jonathan Hernandez put on one heck of a show last week. Look for him to put on another one this week. Starting fifth, the 999, Jeff Hollingsworth, and right alongside him, the 962 of Ethan Troutman. Behind them, going to be the 922 of Todd Cray, starting 7th. 8th position going to go to the 86 of James Skelton. 9th position going to go to the 94 here of Corey Silva. And David Camara rolling off in your 10th spot in the 972.
And rolling off in 11th spot will be the 81 of Patrick Orr. Starting next to him in 12th will be the 01 of Richard Murdoch. And starting tonight in the 13th position will be the 98 of Ryan Oldani. And starting in the 14th position will be the number 4 of Kyle Souza. Rolling off in the 15th position will be the number 2 of Joshua Buckley. Starting next to him in the 16th position will be the number 20 of Brandon Minto. And the number 84 rolling off 17th of Christopher Rothrock. The 909 of JC Baker rolling off 18th. 19th, the 998 of Ron Holyfield, and starting 20th, the number 3 of Tony Strano.
Starting 21st, going to be the 919 there of Mark Vaughn. Joe Strano starting 22nd. 23rd, going to be Kevin O'Brien. Robert Dudley starting there in 24th. 25th, going to be Chris Walker. As the pace car is just about to make the left-hand turn down into the pit road, there it goes. The field's now going to be in the hands there of Sean Butler, Max Terriot, Tim Blum, your front 3 drivers here. And it looks like we're racing for the first time here at the Magic Mile with the Red Light Scrambler Series. Down into turn 1, though, it's going to be a drag race. Sean Butler has the inside advantage right now as they roll down there. Look at that. Tim Blum, though, going way down low, and we're under caution here. It looks like 2 drivers on the initial start possibly making contact here and going around. Kevin O'Brien and Ron Holyfield seem to be the guys that are caught up early in this one. We're going to have to throw it back here on the replay. We didn't see that live. Let's check it out right here. It looks like a chain reaction started all the way up inside the top 10. A couple drivers nowhere to go. Kevin O'Brien, you see him just kind of find Ron Holyfield there already sideways. Let's back it up just a little bit farther and see what we can see. Let's see where this checkup starts to really happen. Yeah, it starts right around. Oh, actually, Minto may have missed a shift on the initial start down there, and a couple drivers going around. Kevin O'Brien is also involved. Ron Holyfield and Mark Vaughn actually got a little piece of that action. So 3 cars on the initial start here getting a checkup pile up. So that's an unfortunate way to start a race here for a lot of these drivers, as that'll put us under the caution here right off the get-go. That's not what a lot of these drivers wanted to see out here tonight, Jared.
No, absolutely not. They definitely wanted to get some green flag runs and start this race off.
Yeah, maybe a hot and slippery track. Let's take a quick look as we have a little time here under the caution flag. That's the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. You heard us talk about 4 corners, a little over a mile in length. 90 laps going to be the lap counter tonight. The distance, 92 miles. Track temp here, as we've already made 2 laps in the book. 106-degree track temp. Air temp, 80 degrees. That has dropped 1 degree since we took to the grid here. Wind speed at 6 miles an hour. Wind direction out of the southwest. That's your track facts here from New Hampshire Speedway. So it is a little short track, and we saw a little bit of short track action right there as a couple guys got checked up and into each other. Well, while we have time, we do like to thank everybody for tuning in here to watch the Red Light Scrambler series right here on your Turn 3 Racing Network. Hope you're ready for some short track action here tonight, as it is, it's just over a mile, but it kind of races, like we said, races like that short track feel. Looks like Corey Silva's down pit road, and he's one lap down. We did see him get a little bit of checkup action, as actually we missed that entire incident there. Not sure where the whole front end of the 94 machine got tore off on that car, but it's unfortunate for Corey. He only gets to come out here and play with the boys every once in a while, and right now it's going to be possibly an early end to his night as he sits down there on pit road. But we will, I believe, get the green, or the 1 to go signal this time from the flagmen. So Corey Silva actually has already exited the car, and he has loaded it up. And no backup cars here for the Red Light Scrambler series. So if you get in an accident, you kind of either got to live with the damage on the car, or you got to put her on the hauler. Corey Silva going to head to the hauler here early. It looks like Ron Holyfield, though, did bring the Kodak machine back out on the track, as he's sitting right there. In the 23rd spot is one lap down, has some pretty significant damage on the Kodak machine, but he'll be out here to turn some laps. Kevin O'Brien also coming right back out. He'll beat the pace car off pit road. He's one lap down. He'll try to catch the rear of the field here. Sean Butler, Max Terriel, Tim Blum, Jonathan Hernandez, Ethan Troutman. Then it's James Skelton, so it's a pretty much identical restart to what we saw last time we went green flag racing here. Jarrett, who's your pick here for the night here from the Magic Mile?
Well, you know, Roger, I'm going to have to go with the 921 of Jonathan Hernandez. He really put on a good show last week at Texas, and I think he's going to do pretty good here tonight as well in New Hampshire.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a different race last week when we had the Xfinity cars at New Hampshire. Or Xfinity cars at Texas, here with the Cup cars at New Hampshire. It's definitely a different ball game out there. We're going to see how he handles the Cup car, because we're about to go back green flag racing. Pace car down and away off the racing surface. So here on lap number 6 as the green flag now waves. There's the flagman waving it. We're back to green flag racing. It looks like a pretty good start this time by everybody. Nobody into the back of each other. Down into one, though. Max Terriel really rolls the top, but he's not able to get back to the throttle. But he's side by side, though, off turn number 2. Couple guys towards the back there coming off the corner, jockeying for position. Right now, Max Terriel, though, went right up, pulled a power move with that Mustang right to the outside of Butler, and stuck it there, and he comes away out of turn number 4 with the lead. So your front 4 going to go single file. Max Terriel, Sean Butler, Tim Blum, Jonathan Hernandez. You got to go back here to right around James Skelton to find a battle for position, because that inside car there, that is Ethan Troutman to the inside. It seems early on, though, here, Jarrett, the outside lane's working pretty good for drivers.
Yeah, that outside lane seems to be moving along pretty good. Be interesting to see if we get a long green flag run going, which lane comes in towards the end of the run.
We were 3 wide coming off the corner there. Patrick Orr was on the outside of Ryan O'Danny. He found the outside wall. That Snickers machine looks like it has some actual damage on it that he may have got on that initial restart. That Snickers 81 machine, Toyota Camry, driven by Patrick Orr, right now finds himself in the 10th spot right in front of Joshua Buckley. Right out in front of these guys, though, that's Richard Murdoch, and it's David Camaro, Ryan O'Danny in the 7th, 8th, and 9th position. Joshua Buckley going to go right around the outside there, or try actually to defend himself from the 20 of Brandon Minto. Single file out front. These are your guys that are side by side for the time being. Looks like Joshua Buckley also got damage to the rear end of that Miller Genuine Draft number 2, as he's going to look here in turn 3 down to the inside. He washes up the track a little bit. He made a little contact with the 81 there of Orr. They both held on to those cars, and we know how hot and slippery it is out there. When you get sideways with somebody touching you, it could almost spell disaster, but classic driving right there by those two, and they're going to carry it on. Right now, Joshua Buckley still trying to get around the inside while the getting's good. It looks like the 2 of Buckley will complete that pass and take over the 10th position. Right behind them, Jesse Baker trying to make some hay back here, trying to get around Todd Cray. kind of had to back off just a little bit. So Todd Cray is going to hold on to that position. Starting to single file out here pretty early on, but Todd Cray, it looks like he might try and go after Joe Strano here.
Yeah, Todd Cray trying to make that inside line work, going into 3, coming through into 4. And he will complete the pass coming off 4, going down the front stretch.
Yeah, Todd Cray looks like he has a little bit of damage on the 922 from that initial start of the race. Doesn't seem to be affecting him. I believe this is actually a hometown race here for the driver of the 922, as he's from the Northeast here. Up in New Hampshire, if I had to say it for you there, Jarrett. See Todd Cray up the track a little bit, trying to diamond it a little more, trying to get a little speed out of that car. So nobody side by side. It's still going to be the 42 of Max Terriel. Sean Butler's right there. Tim Blum, Jonathan Hernandez, and James Skelton. Oh, Skelton was sideways. Actually, that was Ethan Troutman sideways off turn number 2. A big wiggle out of the 962 there for Troutman. Sean Butler, though, up front here. Looks like he's trying to find clean air on the nose of the 88 to see if he can try and work around the 42 of Max Terriel. Right now, nowhere for Sean Butler to go. Kind of just follow the leader for the time being. We're 14 laps on these tires. Probably about maybe just shy of halfway on a tire run, fuel run for these gentlemen. Guesstimating right around the 35 lap marker, you're going to see guys dive towards pit road, but we'll have to see if that's accurate. A lot of times with tracks like these, the tires, the drivers were saying, getting tore up real quick, so it gets hot and slippery. When is enough on tires where you'd like to come down there and put 4 fresh ones on? As they work off the corner, it looked like that time Jonathan Hernandez got a little bit of a wiggle coming off turn number 2. Sean Butler still peeking to the inside here. He might have a run this time as they're going to go door to door off turn number 4 for the lead. Sean Butler to the inside. Max Terriel on the outside. Max going to hold off the 88 of Sean Butler that time at the line, but Sean going to go right back to the bottom here and try and find a little grip for those rear tires. He fires off coming out of the corner. Butler has the lead, but can he hang on? Sean Butler is the first one to venture down to the bottom side of the track here on the longer run, and right now it looks like he might be going to the lead here.
And as they battle coming off forward, in third position, Tim Blum is closing up on him.
Yeah, as Blum starts to close the door, they're still side by side at the line, though. That was Butler who nosed out the 42. They got a battle going on behind them, too, for the 4th position. James Skelton trying to hold on to that. Jonathan Hernandez is slipping a little bit, but he tried to fire back on Skelton after he got around him. Down into 3, though. It's still the battle for the lead between the 3 drivers up here of Butler, Terriel, and Blum. Looks like Sean Butler going to have command now of this race. He goes to the point, and they single file out at the front. So for the time being, this is your top 10 as they run. Butler's out front. Terriel is second with Blum right there. Actually, Blum going to go to the outside. Big wiggle off turn 2 for the 10 of Blum. But he's got the hot shoe. He goes right around Max Terriel's put Tim Blum down P2. Max Terriel starting to slip here. Fade a little bit in the later of this run. Terriel does run 3rd. James Skelton is 4th, with Jonathan Hernandez also starting to fade in the long run. He now runs in your 5th spot. Ethan Troutman runs 6th, with Ryan O'Danny up inside the top 10. There in that 98 machine, running in your 7th spot. David Camara also runs inside the top 10 now with that 972 Clocks by Christopher machine. He runs 8th. Joshua Buckley is 9th, and Richard Murdoch running a little bit farther back than what we've seen. That Tabasco ZL1 Camaro. Richard Murdoch runs 10th. Maybe has a long run setup in that car here tonight, trying to stretch his legs. As there's no battles right now inside the top 10, let's carry on and see where the rest of your top 20 drivers are. Patrick Orr right there in that Snickers Crunch machine. A little bit of damage, but hangs on to the 11th spot. Brandon Minto runs in your 20th spot with that Barstool Sports 20 machine. Todd Cray with a banged up Clocks by Christopher running 13th. Jesse Baker in that Hooters Spirits car running 14th. Joe Strano running all the way back here in the 15th spot. By the way, talking about Joe Strano, Jared, I believe it's a special day for the driver of the 943.
Yeah, I believe you are right. It is his birthday today.
His birthday, and what better way would you want it to be other than to be here on the iRacing platform? Racing from the Magic Mile. Right now, though, kind of a little bit of a slow start here for Joe Strano. He runs in your 15th position, going after Jesse Baker right ahead of him. In your 16th spot, going to be the 919 to Mark Vaughn. He runs 16th. Kyle Sozo right behind him in that number 4 car. They're battling for the 16th and 17th position. Tony Strano back here on the number 3 got jacked up in that restart, and he's got a bunch of damage on that real tree Camaro. He runs 18th. Chris Walker, first time we've seen this driver, Chris Walker, out there on the track here on a Monday night. He runs 19th. The 999 of Jeff Hollingsworth, though, will run it back here in your 20th position. That's your top 20 drivers. Take a peek, though. There's your leader. They're not that far behind the last place car on the lead lap, trying to take a peek. That's Christopher Rothrock, actually, who's right there. Coming down the front stretch, crosses the stripe as Sean Butler's coming right out of turn 4 now, so he's got to get on the loud pedal here or might lose a lap here on this run. Maybe
Coming out.
Go ahead. Where are we at?
Coming out of Ford, Todd Craig getting to the inside of Brandon Minto. And he's going to go after the 81 of Patrick Orr coming through 1 and 2. Let's see if he can hold it down in that low line. And coming down the back stretch, he cannot hold it down. And he's back to 12th.
Yeah, Minto going to hang on to the 12th position for the time being. Todd Cray back to 13th, but Patrick Orr all sorts of under fire right now. 2 drivers have ran him down and want to try and get around him before we hit our pit stops. We've only had 2 lead changes today, as there you see Minto back down to the bottom of the racing surface trying to find any way around Patrick Orr. Patrick's not just going to pull over and allow the 20 of Brandon Minto to go right around him. I'm sure that's what Minto would really enjoy, but that ain't going to happen out here. These boys are fighting for all the real estate they can. Minto is one of our chase contenders here, and he's running a little bit farther back outside the top 10 right now. I'm sure he would like to be right in front of another one of those drivers, right in front of him as it is Patrick Orr. He's in the chase too, but he was sideways. Big moment there for the 20 of Brandon Minto as he's down almost into the grass trying to gather his thoughts, and he might be just checking to see if something came out there, but he's right now running back in your 14th spot as he loses a position there. 2 positions actually for Minto lost there on that exchange out of turn number 2. Sean Butler starting to stretch his legs out front. He just now going to put Kevin O'Brien another lap down, 2 laps down for the driver of the 184 there in the Shell V powered machine. As the next victim, that is going to be Christopher Rothrock there. Rothrock going to go 1 lap down with a bunch of rear end damage on that 84 machine. So that'll leave 21 drivers left on the lead lap here from New Hampshire. 27 laps have been in the books, but look at that gap there, Jarrett. Starting to open up for Sean Butler.
His car is definitely starting to come in this long run, really starting to stretch it out.
Yeah, Sean Butler has a nice commanding lead, about a little under a second and a half right now over Max Terriol. Trying to see if he can get any farther away from the driver of the number 10. Those 3 drivers that are all right there, actually top 4 drivers all inside the chase. Sean Butler, Tim Blum, Max Terriol, James Skelton, all battling in your chase. It's only 1 driver out of the event here tonight. That's the 94 here of Corey Silva. He had to park the 94 a little bit earlier than he would have liked to. Sean Butler still running away. I wonder if he's all jacked up on Mountain Dew right now. Sean Butler looks like he's going to hit pit road here on lap 30, and he's going to pull a bunch of guys with him. Sean Butler's down pit road. Max Terriol down pit road. James Skelton coming along with them, and the number 2 here of Joshua Buckley. I believe that's the 20 then of Brandon Minto also coming down pit road. So you're seeing your first round of pit stops as Sean Butler is going to hand that lead now over. And we got a caution out there on track. Not sure where is the caution. Looks like there's a pileup coming off turn number 2. Christopher Rothrock and Kevin O'Brien are sitting backwards on the track. With a bunch of our leaders down pit road, we're going to have to throw it back and check the replay on this one. Let's check the replay. There we see it. Looks like Kevin O'Brien's up in front. Oh, he makes contact with Hernandez. Ryan O'Danny coming into that, and I think he got a little piece of that. We're going to have to throw it back a little bit farther and see who all was involved in that. Let's go from the cockpit of Ryan O'Danny right here. He was battling with David Camara as that all happened in front of him. Nowhere to go for Ryan O'Danny. It looks like also David Camara getting a little bit of a piece of that. Let's watch it back one more time. Let's see if we can go overhead here as it happened just out in front. Here it is, your initial contact with Kevin O'Brien and Jonathan Hernandez. Hernandez on the lead lap, just trying to get around the lap down car. Christopher Rothrock really trying to slam hard on the brakes in the 84. Just unfortunately got tagged there by Ryan O'Danny. So around he goes. So it's been a rough night for Christopher Rothrock and Kevin O'Brien here in the early going. So as that puts us under caution, a handful of your leaders like Max Terriel, James Skilton, Josh Buckley, and the 88 of Sean Butler, they were all down pit road. So it's going to be interesting to see where they all cycle out, actually. It looks like Kyle Souza right now is being shown as our leader in the number 4 machine. He has yet to be to pit road, so it's an interesting strategy ploy here by Kyle Souza. He is in the chase. Maybe he's hoping that if he can stay up here, lead a lap, he'll get a bonus point. And he did mark his name, I believe. No, he has not marked his name into the book for leading a lap, but he's going to come down pit road, it looks here, and hand it back over to the 88 of Sean Butler. Butler was down pit road, and he did take a full service, so 4 fresh tires and fuel for driver of the 88. So as we're here under caution, let's see if we can get a quick word in with Christopher Rothrock. Christopher Rothrock, you got a copy. It's Roger and Jared here in the booth.
Hey, guys, I got you.
Well, it looks like a little bit of damage on that 84 from the initial start, and I believe a little bit more now on that 84. What's going to be the strategy going forward here with that car?
Yeah, a little bit in that first accident, and I think at the front end, it got messed up pretty good there. We were a little bit off going down the end of the straights, but not quite sure what the second one got. Probably some more back-end damage, but we'll try to get it fixed up and head back through if we can here, maybe make some laps up.
Yeah, not in the chase here at the end of the season for the Scrambler series, but still out here competing. What is it like out there on a track this small, this tight, with a lot of those guys trying to battle for a championship?
Yeah, I mean, you just try to be careful and try and stay out of these guys' ways, you know, that are fighting for that championship, and still do your best. And it's tight. I think there in qualifying, there was quite a few of us within about a tenth of a second of each other, so it's a close field for sure.
Close field, but right now Christopher Rothrock, you heard it, has a little bit of damage from the initial start of the race, and then a little bit more now. A couple of guys coming back down pit road. Looks like Kyle Souza coming down pit road, and that is going to be Jonathan Hernandez back down pit road also. So that is going to restart it here. Sean Butler is going to have the outside is where he chooses. He's going to fire off the 88 with Tim Blum right there in second. David Camara is going to start third with Ethan Troutman there in fourth. Fifth going to be Todd Cray and Richard Murdoch in sixth. That's your top 6 drivers here on the restart here on lap 36 tonight.
What?
Pace car is in here. We're going to go green flag racing. Sean Butler, the control car. You see them all bunching up through the field. And it looks like we're away cleanly here on the restart. Going to have to watch as Jonathan Hernandez is the last car at the tail end of the field here, but down into one. The outside lane here for the 88 looking pretty good, but the 10 of Blum stays right alongside with him. Down the backstretch, they're going to go down here into turn 3. Butler has the advantage to the outside, but can Tim Blum throw it in there on those 4 fresh tires? He has about 3 lap newer tires on the number 10 than the 88. Butler going to be able to hang on for the time being as they're going to single file out. How about David Kamara? He's looking to the inside here on Tim Blum. Can he make it stick? He's going to fall in line for the time being. Can he get a run off turn number 2? One of those hometown boys, also David Kamara from up there. He's not going to be for the time being. He's going to have to settle for the 3rd position. Got to go all the way back here till you find Jesse Baker, Mark Vaughn. They're side by side. That's the 10th and 11th position. Both drivers respectfully having good nights here. They weren't, as they're 4 wide actually behind them towards the back of the pack. Ryan O'Danny was to the inside there. Jonathan Hernandez was in the middle along with James Skelton. And I believe that was Robert Dudley right there. They were all 4 wide coming off turn number 4. They made it work. That is pretty impressive driving by those 4 drivers to run 4 wide and come out of there unscathed. Right ahead of them, though, Max Terriel was one of your leaders. He was battling inside the top 3 after green flag pit stops, though, finds himself all the way back there in 13th. Let's take a ride around New Hampshire here with Max Terriel. As you just saw right in front of Max Terriel, Jesse Baker getting into the outside wall here. As there's Max really starting to close in. Right ahead of them, though, it's still Joe Strano and Mark Vaughn battling it out. So Max Terriel trying to work his way still back into the picture here. Still a lot of racing to go, not quite halfway. 5 laps till we hit the halfway point. Out front, Butler, Blum, Kamara, Troutman, Murdoch, your top 5. Patrick Orr has been one of the guys who's really started to move through the field here. We talked about him getting damage on the on the first start of the race with that Snickers Crunch 81. Right now finds himself in 6th after that restart. Somebody sideways, the 909 of Jesse Baker sideways down into the inside fence there. I'm going to throw it back here on a replay real quick, see if we can find what happened with Jesse Baker as he battled with the 42 of Max Terriel. There you see they're side by side going through 1 and 2. What happens off turn 2? Oh, just sideways for Baker. He tried to catch it, didn't make contact with the 42. And then unfortunately it's going to end his day as he took a tow right into the pit road. So Jesse Baker finding the inside wall off turn number 2 after getting sideways. He had a top 15 run going at the time of that. It looks like Jesse Baker also going to load it up. He's going to head off to next week a little bit early, take that car back to the body shop, see if they can hammer out a little bit of those quarter panels. Sean Butler is out front, though, setting the pace in front of Tim Blum. Jonathan Hernandez starting to cut his way through the field. He does have a little right front damage, and that might hamper the handling as you see him really overshoot corner number 3 there for the 921 of Hernandez. Holds on to the 13th spot. He has the freshest tires of anybody out there on the lead lap right now for the time being. He just wants to push right now when the tires are good and get to the front. But right now, 13th for Hernandez, and it's going to be interesting to see how far he can push here on this set of tires.
Another one coming through the field is James Skelton. He is already up into the top 10. As he comes into one, he's looking to try and start working on the 42 of Max Terriel. See if he can get a run off of 2.
Chris Walker, who is just ahead of those drivers, was sideways off of turn number 2 and opens up the door. Here comes Max Terriel. James Skelton going to try and fill the hole with the Slim Jim's Toyota. Hollingsworth way up and out of the groove that time through 3 and 4, allowing Terriel to get past him, and then James Skelton also makes a clean pass, so that'll pick up 2 positions. Well, it'll drop Chris Walker 2 positions, more like it. Everybody single file out, checking back here right around the 17th spot. Mark Vaughn just out here with a little bit of damage on that 919 machine. Running back here in 17th, right behind Tony Strano, who It's pretty impressive to watch Tony Strano. You can see all the camber that's built up into that right or left front tire here on that car. The whole front end's tore off that car, and he's still out here on the lead lap, turning laps. It's pretty impressive to have a drive like that here tonight. We're just over the halfway marker. Joshua Buckley now to the back bumper of the 905 of Chris Walker. As we got a caution out. Kyle Souza has turned around off turn number 2. So another caution waving here from New Hampshire. Possibly could be a single car incident. Let's throw it back on the replay and check her out as Souza was running. Actually, this might be a two-car incident. I'm not quite sure, as that's Brandon Minto. Minto is a lap down, running in front of Kyle Souza. Let's see. It is just a single car spin here by the number 4, Kyle Souza. He goes around, doesn't hit anything, I believe, and nobody hits him as Rhino Danny just squeaks around him and Joe Strano also. Let's take it back and let's watch it out of the point of view from Rhino Danny. Rhino Danny, you see him, you heard him lift the throttle to try and make it around the spinning 4 car of Kyle Souza. He made it around, but Kyle Souza going to lose a lot of track position. All your leaders are back down pit road, and it seems like everybody came along. Nobody's staying out this time. Nobody's going to try to roll the dice to lead a lap. Brandon Minto is the only one showing out there on track right now, and he's out there 1 lap down, now gets his lap back. He should be the lucky dog recipient. Sean Butler going to easily win the race off pit road. Then it's going to be Tim Blum, David Camara, Ethan Troutman, and then it's a gaggle of cars trying to figure it out. It's going to look to be Troutman, Cray, Terry Murdoch, your top 7, or coming out in 8, James Skelton in 9th, and Jeff Hollingsworth in your 10th position. We're going to step away for a quick moment while we're here under caution. Here from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, you're watching the Red Light Scrambler Series.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back, race fans. Lights are off on the pace car here from New Hampshire. And we're going to line them back up here and go back green flag racing. Sean Butler is going to be the leader here with Tim Blum running right there second. Then it's going to be Todd Cray, or David Camara, then Todd Cray. So you got 2 teammates there running 3rd and 4th. Ethan Troutman, Richard Murdoch, Patrick Orr, Max Terriel, Jeff Hollingsworth, James Skelton is actually in your 10th position. So it's going to be interesting here. As we got 4 fresh tires halfway through, I believe we're still going to need 1 more pit stop for fuel before we end this one out here tonight. As the iRacing pace car makes the left-hand turn, and we're back to green flag racing. Sean Butler coming up through the gears pretty good, but Blum got a great restart on the inside. They'll go door to door down into turn 1 as Blum actually stretches ahead a little bit. Butler just going to fall back to second. Here comes David Camara. He wants the piece of the battle. He's going to go side by side off the corner. Looks like a pretty good start there by everybody. It looks clean, and everybody is away. Just about 3 wide racing back here for the 5th position. That's Murdoch, Terriol, and Troutman as they're battling back here. And there's a little bit of a pass up here. It looks like Todd Cray going to try and move around the top side of his teammate here of David Camara. Tick-tock, gentlemen, like the back bumper says. Who's going to make the position? Troutman behind them, though. Big wiggle off turn number 2. He's going to lose a bunch of position. There goes Orr. There goes Hollingsworth. And there goes Skelton right around him. He's going to go from running in the 6th spot all the way back to the 10th spot as Max Terriel also got around him. Here comes Richard Murdoch in the 01 machine. He's bringing the Tabasco Chevrolet to the front of the field here. As actually, I believe somebody was into the outside wall back there. That looks like that was the 999 of Jeff Hollingsworth. As now Jonathan Hernandez is up and out of the groove. There go 3 wide again. Hernandez to the outside. Here comes Vaughn in the middle. Buckley down low. They made it work. 3 wide and 1 driver into the outside wall. Which was not Brandon Minto, I was going to say. It was Jeff Hollingsworth. He was into the outside wall. Joshua Buckley, Mark Vaught, and Hernandez went 3 wide then right behind him, and they made it work out. Hernandez backed off the gas there in that Fuel Plus 921 machine. And just going to ride back to the 13th spot for the time being.
And the 42 of Max Theriault trying to get by the 922 of Todd Craig going into 1. See if he can hold it down on the inside, make the pass coming out of 2. And they're about even coming down the backstretch, and he clears them going into 3.
So Max Terriol picking up position, and as he opened up the door, here comes Patrick Orr. He's going to get around Todd Cray to the inside also, so Todd Cray going to the wrong direction for the time being. You know, Richard Murdoch really started that about 3 laps ago when he got around Todd Cray, and then it opened up the door for Max Terriol, Patrick Orr, as they all got around him. Todd Cray now running in the 7th spot in the 922. Still a long race to go here. He can make up that track position. He had a lot of damage on that car. I really wonders how much damage is on the car, and is it really starting to hamper his performance here? Out front, it's still going to be the number 10 of Tim Blum. Sean Butler just kind of laying in the weeds right now, stalking 10 of Tim Blum. As actually their Butler kind of slipped up coming off turn number 2 and kind of opened up the gap there. About a 3-car length gap as it really shoots down there. It looked like Tim Blum really lifted off the gas going down into the corner a little bit earlier than Sean Butler. And Butler went from 3, almost 4-car lengths back to almost literally sitting in the back seat of the number 10. Sean Butler still all over the back bumper here. Somebody's turning sideways towards the back of the field there. Didn't catch the numbers. Yeah, we did. It's Mark Vaughn in that Ford Mustang 919 machine. He went from actually right outside the top 10 to now running 20th as the whole field is going around 919 of Mark Vaughn. It's a slippery track out there. Still 104-degree track temp. It looks like he's going to come down. He's going to try and put some tires on that 919 and get back out there. Here comes Sean Butler once again, diving to the inside, closing the gap. But as these guys battle, it looks like David Camara is actually just last lap by, closed the gap just a little bit. He's sitting right there hovering around 1 second back. Richard Murdoch is sitting 4th. Max Terriol is all over the back bumper of that Tabasco number 01 machine. Max Terriol would really like to get back up into the top 3 where he was before he got caught on pit road. Your leaders are starting to run away a little bit right now. Have about almost a second and a half now. We just talked about how David Camara is starting to close the gap. Now Camara is starting to slowly drift back a little bit. Your leaders still about a half car length between each other. 1 car length down the backstretch. Let's see where Sean Butler goes this time, down into 3. Look at the gap shrink right almost to the back bumper. Probably about a tire width apart from each other. Mark Vaughn still down pit road in the 919 machine. Christopher Rothrock is shown running back here. Your last driver out there on track with Ryan O'Danny right behind him, but Ryan O'Danny is actually still on the lead lap, even though it seems like he's down a little bit on horsepower. Down the straightaways, it looks like probably almost 10 miles an hour slower than what our leader of Tim Blum was. Tim Blum still leading the way with Sean Butler in tow. David Camaro is third with Richard Murdoch sitting there fourth with Max Terriel all over the back bumper of him still. Terriel a little bit sideways in the middle of 1 and 2 there. Drives the car off the corner straight but closes the gap. Gonna look to the inside here. Gonna show the nose to Richard Murdoch. They're gonna go right there with the right front to the left rear. That's about as far as he can go. Can he hold the power down to the inside? He's going to hold suit right now. It looks like side by side just about at the line. Murdoch, though, going to have the position still down in turn number 1.
As they come off of 2, Theriot still trying to hold the inside line, coming down the back stretch. Let's see if he can get the run on him going into 3. And it looks like he's going to try and clear it coming off of 4. No, Murdoch coming off the top side, getting a run down the front stretch.
Yeah, Murdoch able to hold strong on the outside, keeping the momentum up in the 0-1, but Max Terriot really fights back down into turn 1. Terriot looks like he's going to clear him off turn 2. Murdoch, though, going to slowly scratch his way back in as they're side by side down the backstretch into turn 3 once again. So Max Terriot really able to drive the 42 down into the corner a little bit farther than Richard Murdoch, but Murdoch really puts the power down to that Camaro on the high side. This time out of 4, Max Terriot going to slam the door. He's going to take the positions to put Max Terriot now running in your 4th spot. Sean Butler, Tim Blum still 1 and 2 out front. Nothing has changed there. David Camara now sitting right in front of Max Terriot. Max has about a half-second gap he has to chew into before he can find the back bumper of David Camara. Looking at the timing and score, we're probably about halfway into our pit run here. And remember, only need one more pit stop and we can possibly make it the rest of the way. You can do that on fuel, but can you do that on tires is going to be the question here tonight. Looks like Todd Cray, James Skelton back here running nose to tail right behind the Patrick Orr 81 machine. Guys have kind of been pretty close to each other all night long. Todd Cray made himself known inside the top 5 on that last restart, but has slowly started to drift away, and I believe he's coming down pit road right here. Todd Cray going to be one of the first gentlemen to come down and play this strategy. Jarrett, we see it week in and week out. These guys play the strategy like nobody else, and Todd Cray is going to be the first one to try it out.
Absolutely. The last few races have definitely come down to good strategy and who can play it out the best.
Yes, with Todd Cray down pit road, he'll have to go 22 laps on the tank of fuel, which would be no problem. Remember, we have it slotted right around 35 laps for a fuel run, so you can make it the rest of this race if you pit now. So it's going to be interesting to see if those tires, though, can stay underneath the 922 of Todd Cray. He is out of pit road, shown 1 lap down right now. Todd Cray just coming back onto the racing surface there. So he's about 1 lap and about half. So a lap and a half behind right now, Tim Blum. Max Terriot going to be the first one of our leaders inside the top 5 to come down. He's going to bring along Jonathan Hernandez. So a couple more of your faster drivers at the front of the field here tonight, bringing it down early here at New Hampshire. 20 to go. Question is, actually, I believe I just saw, was that Jonathan Hernandez bounced off the pit wall as he was coming down pit road? The right front of that car is tore up. Gonna have to see him if that plays a factor here. Sean Butler going to be giving up the 2nd spot. He'll come down pit road. He'll have 19 laps to go on his tires. Right now is the time, Jarrett. You don't want to have any pit mistakes. You want a clean entry, a clean stop in the box, and a clean exit all the way around that inside road there. You don't want any penalties at this point because it could just ruin the rest of your night.
Oh, absolutely. At this point in the race, you don't want any mistakes. Every second matters on pit road especially.
Every second matters. Right here comes Tim Blum. He doesn't want the 88 of Sean Butler or any of the other drivers to get a jump on him. He comes down, and he's going to bring down David Camara with him. That'll leave Richard Murdoch out there. Murdoch can notch his name into the book here tonight of leading lap. That's only our 4th leader of the evening, and there's Sean Butler. You see him trying to get everything he can coming off pit road. Right now, though, is shown 1 lap down to the 01 of Richard Murdoch. So Sean Butler was one of the first ones to come down. We'll see where he's going to cycle out. Tim Blum's still sitting on pit road. It looks like here comes Richard Murdoch. So Murdoch down pit road, and he'll bring along Jeff Hollingsworth also. So that will turn it over now to James Skelton there in the 86 Slim Jim machine as he goes down into turn 1. Right ahead of him, that is the 922 there of Todd Cray. David Camara also coming off pit road right there. Clocks by Christopher sponsored ZL1 Camaro. He runs right now in the 17th spot. He is the first car 1 lap down. He'll get that back right here as he's going to look to the inside now on James Skelton. Skelton's going to stay to the high side. He knows the fresher tires are down there. He's just going to try and ride this one out here, James Skelton. See, as long as he can take it, maybe a caution to come out. We're going to have to see how that strategy plays out. Handful of drivers, 7 drivers still have yet to make a pit stop here in the late going of this event. Here comes Murdoch as he comes off pit road, 16th place, 1 lap down. Just checking out a couple cars. Tony Strano out there in the number 3, Real Tree number 3, ZL1 Camaro. Looks like he has a new front end. His crew was able to get that on the front end of that car under the last pit stop, so his car looking a little bit better, a little more racy for the number 3. James Skelton still out front. Ethan Troutman still hanging out on track. Ron Holyfield, Robert Dudley, Kyle Souza, Brandon Minto. That are your 6 drivers who have yet to come down pit road. And there is Brandon Minto, sitting about 9.5 seconds back behind James Skelton. And James Skelton going to continue to stay out there and circle around the track. Maybe he knows something we don't know, Jarrett.
Yeah, he must know something to be out there this long on those tires.
As the one man who's right behind James Skelton here, 1 lap down, that is the number 2 of Joshua Buckley. He's trying to get his lap back. He does have obviously 24 lap pressure tires, so it doesn't look like that should be a problem for him. Robert Dudley is down pit road. It looks like for the 2nd time. He goes 1 lap down now. James Skelton leading the way. Troutman still there in 2nd. And there you see the 2 of Buckley gonna jump to the outside here. Maybe Skelton's coming down pit road this time. He does not battle to keep the number 2 behind him. All sorts of different strategy as actually looks like Skelton's gonna continue to be out there in circle laps. Kyle Souza, how about him? He spun the 4 car around earlier in this race, and he's running back up inside the top 5. Yes, he hasn't pit yet, but he's trying to stretch it out. He knows he didn't have a car that was going to win on speed here with the damage done to the front end of that 4 car. Trying to play the strategy card. Maybe he can sneak out a top 5 here. Yeah, he's running right in front of the number 20 of Brandon Minto, who runs in your 5th spot. The man that's right behind Minto, though, that's going to be Joe Strano. He's a lap down, and that's Robert Dudley. Those 2 are battling for position. They have the fresher tires. Here comes Dudley to the inside of Strano. He'll take away that position, so put Strano now in your 15th spot. Or I got that backwards. Dudley takes the 15th spot. Strano now falls to 16th. They may be a lap down, but they're still pushing for every position. James Skelton still out there leading. 10 laps to go now here from New Hampshire. So as the laps keep clicking away, let's take an onboard here and listen to James Skelton as he drives around here on the old tires. As there we rode on board with James Skelton. All those guys, those top 5 guys, still staying out there, playing the fuel strategy, trying to make it the rest of the way. It did seem while we were on board with James Skelton there like he was trying to lift a little sooner than he possibly had to as he went down into corner number 1 and 3. Trying to save as much fuel, ride and roll the car through the center of the corner as much as he can. Wheel spin gonna take a little bit of the fuel mileage away also. But right now, James Skelton just kind of being smooth out there, taking a bite of Slim Jims, just kind of rolling around. Ethan Troutman's still out there. He runs second, as actually Brandon Minto did come down pit road right there. So that'll give Ethan Troutman and James Skelton the last 2 drivers out there on this strategy play. Sean Butler, he is coming as we got a caution out there on the raceway. As actually, I believe it involves the 84, Christopher Rothrock. He's got a bunch of smoke bellowing out the back of that Mustang. We're going to have to take it back. We didn't see what happened to Christopher Rothrock as he was rolling around right around the 21st position. So as you see Christopher Rothrock back there in the Ruckus 84 machine, rolling around. Let's see what happens down here in turns 3 and 4. He has no rear left on the 84 machine. He's good off turn 4. What happened? We're going to find out. Maybe it happened over here in turn number 1. May have. Oh, he goes down into turn 1, just loses the back end of that car. He's drifting it around and he ends up just runs out of grip, and the 84 shoots back into turn 1, hits the wall. So a single car wreck here on lap 84. Gonna really put some strategy into this now, because James Skelton, who's out front, he didn't make his pit stop yet with Ethan Troutman. They're gonna both come down pit road. Sean Butler gonna stay out here. Interesting strategy, Cotton. Do you think it's gonna play out?
This will make for interesting strategy, and James Skelton will be on fresher tires than everybody else at the front of him for the rest of the race. Maybe does he have enough time to work his way back through the pack?
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get probably 2, maybe 3 more laps here under caution, but a lot of big names, a lot of fast guys out here tonight coming down. Looks like Blum is down pit road. Jonathan Hernandez, Max Terrion also down pit road. It looks like it's going to be a race off pit road to see who's going to be the first one to line up with the new tires. It's going to be the 86, James Skelton, going to beat Tim Blum off pit road. David Camara, Richard Murdoch, Ethan Troutman, Kyle Souza coming out there in your 10th spot. Brandon Minto also down pit road. Big loser on the pit cycle there, though, the 42, Max Terriol. He comes out in the 11th position for the time being. But Sean Butler going to stay out here with Todd Cray, Patrick Orr, and Joshua Buckley. So 4 drivers electing to stay out here on the older set of tires. Things are going to get interesting on this restart, that's for sure. Four laps to go here. Lights are still on the pace car. A couple of your lap down cars down pit road right now getting service done to those machines to finish out the event here. So Sean Butler, he's been out there for 15 laps on those 4 tires. Todd Cray, different strategy. He's been out there for 18 laps on his tires. Patrick Orr on another strategy of his own. He's been out there for 14 laps. And Joshua Buckley, who's ran right around the 10th to 15th position all night long, finds himself in 4th with 15-lap old tires on himself. Tim Blum is the first car with 4 fresh tires, and he'll line up 5th. Everybody from Tim on back, 4 fresh tires, so it's going to get wild here to the finish tonight. Last 3 races was fuel strategy. Tonight we're going to see if it's tire strategy. Well, once again, we do like to thank everybody for tuning in here on your Turn 3 Racing Network here over on the YouTube side of things. I see Dan Butler out there and Joey Blue, Skittles Crystal, she's out there too, weekly supporters of the stream here. We do like to thank them for tuning in. As you see them doubling up here, we're about to get things back to green flag racing. Sean Butler elects to take the outside lane. Todd Craig going to be shoved to the inside, and it's going to be Buckley on the outside with Patrick Orr there in the Snickers machine, lining up to the inside. James Skelton, Tim Blum. Watch for those guys back there in the 3rd row. They're going to fire off with 4 fresh tires and only 2 laps to get it done. As they work through turn 3 and 4, we're going to turn them loose here. 2-lap shootout from New Hampshire. What more would you ask for from these guys? The Magic Mile's going to put on a magic trick here. Let's see what Sean Butler can pull out of the hat. He's led the most laps, 41 laps to be exact here, has been led by Sean Butler. Can he lead the last 2? Green flags in the air. 2 laps to go from New Hampshire. Going to be no give and take down here into turn 1. Sean Butler really got a good run to the outside. Look at that, Tim Blum on the inside. There's somebody sideways. It looks like the 2 of Buckley is sideways. He is turned around in front of the field. Caution flag is waving, as that's not what Josh Buckley wanted to see. Sean Butler, though, does have the lead. Tim Blum, though, I believe, going to be shown in 3rd. We're going to have to check and see if we have a green-white checker that can be come out here for the overtime. But we're going to first watch this replay. What happened to the number 2 here of Buckley on the restart? There you see he's on the outside. Oh, Mike got a little tap there from James Skellin as he had the newer tires and just ended up getting into the back. Ethan Troutman's turned around. He's facing the wrong direction. A lot of other guys also getting wrapped up into that one. We're going to have to throw her back a little bit and watch, because the 2 car here of Joshua Buckley is all tore up. This is from overhead. Overhead, you see Buckley really drives it into the corner, but can't get back to the throttle like all these guys that are behind. It's just a chain reaction there. Skelton into the back, and I believe Troutman into the back of him. Max Terriot goes around also. Ryan O'Danny going to get a little bit of a piece of that. That's not what these guys wanted to see in the late going. It's such a good race, especially for the 42 of Max Terriot. Let's throw it back one more time here and see if we can go on board with the 42. There wasn't anything Max Terriot was going to do there. You saw it live in his point of view from the 42 machine. Around he went. I don't think he has too much damage on the 42, but he'll come down. He'll get 4 fresh tires. Lights are still on the pace car. We'll have to find out. Jarrett, do you know off the top of your head, do we get 1 green-white checker here, or are we going to finish this one from New Hampshire under yellow?
I believe I am seeing that we have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. So, yeah, we do have a green-white checkered attempt coming up.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, hold strong, because it's going to get interesting. Let's take you through the walk here and see where your driver is running. Sean Butler leads the way. Todd Cray, both those 2 drivers on old tires. Then it's the first guy on new tires, going to be Tim Blum. Then it's Patrick Orr on the old set of tires. Richard Murdoch has 4 fresh ones. Kyle Souza, 4 fresh ones, along with Brandon Minto in 7th. Jonathan Hernandez is 8th. David Camara is 9th. And James Skelton rounds out the top 10. James actually down pit road. And he's no longer shown in the 10th spot. That'd be Robert Dudley, because look at the Slim Jim machine all tore up. That's just unfortunate for James Skelton. He was playing a different strategy than just about everybody out there, and it's not going to work the way that the spotter kind of drew that one up. Well, I was looking for James Skelton to see if we can get a word in with driver of the 86, but I don't see him here in the team speak, so we'll try and catch up with him after the race. Don't pay any attention to the upper left-hand corner of the screen where it says race is finishing. We're going to finish this one under green flag conditions. It's going to sit there and say finishing. It's just a little glitch that ATVO has still. ATVO has not updated since the new patch for the iRacing has gave us the green-white checker option, and well, we're going to go green-white checker. Jarrett gave us the information. We got 3 attempts at this. Right now, I think sitting in the catbird seat might be that number 10 of Tim Blum with the 4 fresh tires. We saw him make it 3 wide down into turn number 1, the first green, or when we went back racing with 2 to go. James Skelton catching the rear of the field there in that 86 machine, see if he can pick up a couple positions here on the final restart. We talked about no give and take was going to be happening here on that 2 to go marker. Let's see now that these boys got a chance here at redemption to do it all again. Pace car is down and away. Sean Butler back to the throttle, and we're racing. Here comes the number 10 of Blum. He got a really good start there. Look at everybody. Top 3 starting to pull away from the field before they hit turn 1. Tim Blum, though, has the fresh tires. What's he going to do? Here comes Murdoch. Murdoch has 4 fresh tires. He goes down to the bottom. Butler going to hang to the top side. A little bit sideways for cars on, a little bit from the 5th place on back. Sean Butler trying to pinch Todd Cray down. Here comes Tim Blum. He's going to try and go straight to the outside. Murdoch to the inside. 3 wide off turn number 4. Are we going to get the white flag here? 1 more lap to go here from New Hampshire. Contact Todd Cray into the back of the number 10 of Blum. Blum is around. It's going to end his night right there. We're going to finish this one under green. Here comes Richard Murdoch. Does he have enough time? He has 4 fresh tires. Into turn number 3 they go. It's a 2-horse race here from New Hampshire. Who's going to win it? 88 of Butler has the advantage. Here comes Murdoch. He's going to fire off. Can he have enough time down the front stretch? Butler going to win it here from New Hampshire. First race of the second round of the playoffs goes to the 88 of Sean Butler. Richard Murdoch gave it all of that Tabasco car hat. He comes home second. Jonathan Hernandez, no hood on the car. He comes home P3. Brandon Minto rallies. Look at that. Minto inside the top 5. That's a good start to his second round of the playoffs. He goes 4th position. David Camara had a great finish here. Ethan Troutman goes 6th. Kyle Souza is 7th. Patrick Orr is 8th. James Skelton comes back for a top 10 finish. Joe Strano, the birthday man, finishes 10th. His brother Tony going to finish off there in 11th. Tim Blum, the big loser there on that final restart, goes from 3rd all the way back to 12th. Joshua Buckley is 13th. Max Terriot, as Sean Butler there celebrates. Terriot comes home disappointing 14th. Dudley 15th. Todd Creighton 16th. Jeff Hollingsworth there in 17th. Chris Walker in 18th place finish. 19th goes to Ron Holyfield. Ryan O'Danny rounds out the top 20, and Christopher Rothrock 21st. As you watch Sean Butler celebrate, we're going to see if we can get a couple of these guys up here in the booth, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 90 laps for the Red Light Scrambler Series. Round number 2 of the playoffs. Race 1 in the books, and Sean Butler is your winner. I have caught up here with Sean. Sean, you led the most laps out there tonight, leading 48 laps out of the 90 scheduled, but it had to have been nerve-wracking coming down to the end of this one.
Totally forgot about the green-white checkers, but yeah, talking about just having just enough to hold off Richard there. Got lucky. If something hadn't happened to Tim there in turn 3 and 4, where he tried to go for it all and get washed up and went real high there, I think he would have won it too. But just happened to work out in my favor for these last 2 green white checkers there.
Yeah, 4 of you guys stayed out under that yellow flag that was brought out with about 5 to go. Was that something that you had already in your mind? You weren't coming down pit road at all?
Yeah, I decided that. I was like, if I pit, I know lots of people are going to stay out, so that's why I decided to stay out. I had a feeling that James and the last 2 guys I hadn't pitted, I had a feeling they were going to come in because they were just going to be sitting ducks, and so I just wanted to Harriet to lead and hopefully hold them off.
Yeah, you were able to hang on to it, but Richard Murdoch sure came at you with a head of steam there on that final lap after, I believe it was the 10 of Tim Blum got together with somebody onto the outside, and that kind of took him out. But Murdoch, with 2 fresh tires, actually came with a head of steam, and it looked all 4 like he was going to dive to the inside, but you were just able to hang on.
Yeah, I saw him coming. I saw him come out of that melee down there and won, and I don't know how he got down there so quick. I was just like, uh-oh. But just enough to hold off and, punch my ticket to the next round. Now I can relax next week and hopefully go for another win.
Yeah, you talk about next week. Next week we're going to hop out of these Cup cars. We're going to hop over into the trucks. How do you feel about going to Iowa, though? We know you feel pretty good because you're locked in, but how do you feel about going there?
I like Iowa. I like how it runs there, and I like, you kind of run the high line and, high line 3 and 4, low line 1 and 2. It's real fun, but you can find some grip even on the bottom and even high in 1 and 2. You can do some passing there, and it just depends on what the actual overall grip is going to be. You just never know week in, week out. So we'll see what it drives like, but I think I'll have a good car, and I'll be up front and hopefully contending for a win.
Well, good luck to you next week. Sean Butt, first, congratulations on your win here. Before we let you go, though, we'll hand you the mic, give you the floor. Who do you got to thank for parking the 88 Mountain Dew machine in Victory Lane once again?
Oh, my teammates over at Need for Speed, James and Josh. We did practice and tried to figure out mileage and tire strategy tonight. And I know Tim tried a couple tires early, and I knew that wasn't going to be the way to go. But good job by James. I didn't think you'd be able to make it. It looked like he was going to be able to make it there. But, it is what it is. And just thank you guys up there in the booth. Enjoy watching the race afterwards. And thanks, Red Light, putting this stuff on. And look forward to doing it again next week and racing for a championship, hopefully.
Yeah, well, there you heard it from tonight's winner, Sean Butler in the 88, leading 48 laps tonight. It looked like he might have had he had a chance to slip up there on the late going there to Richard Murdoch, but he held on the 88 machine as Sean Butler coming home P number 1. I believe, Jarrett, you have caught up with the man who finished second here tonight.
I am here with our second place finisher, Richard Murdoch. Richard, pretty quiet day for most of the race, but then really turned it on strong when it mattered most at the end. Tell us how your day went.
Yeah, I knew I was an average car here. I'm not super great at this track. I did a little bit better in the long runs, which luckily for me, we got a couple of those. And then that 2-tire pit strategy at the end really helped me get up front there. And it's unfortunate that my teammate Tim kind of got wrecked in the 1. I'd have liked to have raced Sean with him as well, but that's racing, I guess.
Yes, that certainly is racing. You never know what will happen. So going into next week in Iowa in the trucks, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm definitely going to have to put my practice in this week. I'm decent there, but coming down to 1 race and then we're down to 8 drivers, I definitely am not going to be slacking off. I need to do my homework this week, try and turn some fast laps and see if I can get a little bit better before next Monday.
Absolutely. Get that practice in. And before we let you go here, who do you want to thank tonight?
Definitely my teammates at Full Throttle Racing, Tim, Brandon, and Ryan. We practice together during the week and kind of share notes and help each other out. Those watching, my buddy Walter Cooper here, he's always tuning in to watch me. My Uncle Gary, my friend Sam out in Las Vegas, he's hopefully watching me. I know he's working at night. My dad up in Chester, South Carolina, my brother Michael, they're watching. My Uncle Steve here in Somerville, and then my friends out in Colorado, Katie and Jeremy. I appreciate them all tuning in and watching each week, and thanks to you guys for broadcasting. Hopefully we put on a decent show tonight.
Absolutely put on a great show tonight. And I believe, Roger, do you have anybody else to talk to?
Yeah, we have caught up with the third place finisher, I believe, here tonight. Jonathan Hernandez had one heck of a battle. He rallied back to finish in the 3rd spot. Jonathan, you got a copy with us here?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, there's the man, the myth, and the legend. John, you came onto the scene last week, had a great run, and you backed it up again here. You put in the 921 on the podium. How was your car out there tonight, and how many laps did you need to try and get back up to the 88 of Sean Butler?
Well, the car overall handled more on the loose side than what I wanted. I was still used to the little tightness from last week, but once we got halfway through the race, it just started clicking together, and after the final pit stop, it just hooked perfectly. And I think I needed maybe one more caution just to get caught up to Richard and Sean, but overall race was good, and if I didn't get caught up with the 2 accidents I had right there, I think we would have had a shot to win, but overall 3rd place is good.
Yeah, you were involved in 2 accidents. It looks like the hood was no longer attached to the 921's front end. When did you lose the hood, and did it really affect the handling of the car down the straightaway into the corner?
The hood got lost with the first big crash in the green white checker, I believe, when we had to restart with 3 to go. And on my screen, I had the 962 land on top of my hood. In the broadcast, it didn't show that, but on my screen, 962 land on top of my hood, and that apparently I was told it was still there, but when I hit the wall on the final lap, it disappeared. But I believe with that hood damage, I did lose a little bit of speed. I could tell from my RPM meter, the little needle was a little shaky than what I wanted, and I think that's what overall made me slow down a little bit. But as long as I was able to keep in top 5, prove to everyone that I'm one person to mess with next season, it'll be a good overall showing.
Yeah, you came into the series, I believe it was last week, when we saw you for the first time at the Texas Motor Speedway in the Xfinity car. You had a good showing over there. And then New Hampshire. Did you circle New Hampshire on the calendar when you saw it was the Cup car at New Hampshire?
Shockingly, no. I'm not a huge fan of New Hampshire. I always struggled here. Even in every series I've been competing in, it's just a little difficult track, but overall it's pretty fun, and it makes racing as tight as it was today and pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it was a pretty entertaining show. But as we end up leaving New Hampshire here, how about Iowa in the trucks next week? Are you excited for that one, or are we looking forward to maybe going to Homestead?
I am a huge fan of Iowa, but especially with the trucks, with the new package and the setups being almost the same as this with the looseness, I believe it'll just be another great showing of how close we could race together. But I'm gonna circle Iowa because I competed there ever since it was released on iRacing, and I've been dominant. So, and Homestead as well, I've been dominant as well, especially with the B cars, I believe, that we're going to run there. And those 2, I believe I could probably get a win out of one of them. If not, I'm going to attempt to crash it trying.
Well, it sounds like, Jonathan, you're going to drive the wheels off the car, the truck. It doesn't matter what we're driving next week or the week following. But before we let you go here to go celebrate your 3rd place finish, who do you got to thank?
Well, first off, I want to thank everyone here at Red Light for putting on this awesome league, and of course the broadcasters. It's always fun trying to watch the race while trying to drive it in as well. And I'd like to thank my sponsor, Fuel Plus, and of course my team to help me practice, try to get ready for these races. It's a lot of fun. I can't pass up now.
Yeah, well, there you heard it. A lot of fun by Jonathan Hernandez, who comes home 3rd, missing a hood on that car, but nonetheless, a 3rd place finish is still pretty good. Jarrett, that's going to do it just about here from the New Hampshire Speedway for us, but next week we head over to another little short track. It's a totally different package, though, when we pick up the trucks.
Absolutely. There should be some great racing at the short track of Iowa in the trucks. Should be a good night.
Should be a good night, just like it was here from New Hampshire. A couple guys wrapped up in late yellows, or cautions, pit stops, kind of threw monkey wrenches into a lot of strategies. Remember, 3 weeks in a row we kind of saw fuel strategy come into it. Tonight it was a tire strategy race at the end of this one, who had what left. And it came down to Sean Butler staying out there 19 laps on the old tires, holding off the 2-tire stop of Richard Murdoch. Jonathan Hernandez, 4 tires, but missing a hood on that 921 machine, rallied back for a 3rd place finish. Brandon Minta, though, he hat off to the driver of the 20. He came back to finish 4th after it looked like he probably was going to have a dismal day, but came back for a 4th place finish. And David Camara getting home inside the top 5. That's going to do it here from New Hampshire Speedway. For everybody here at the Turn 3 Racing Network, along with the Red Light Scrambler Series, we will catch you next Monday night from the Iowa Speedway with the trucks. Still going to be round 2, race number 2. It'll be a cutoff race. See who comes out of that one alive next week right here on your Turn 3 Racing Network.